Hey everybody, I want to show you how to take your Premiere Pro project, the timelines that you guys have been working on. You've got your Premiere Pro project. Now, what's the next step when you are ready to share it with others? So it's a process that is pretty much just all about exporting your project, converting it to something that other folks can see. Now, with consumer-based software like iMovie or some of the others, it kind of simplifies it for you. You just sort of say, let me share this video, which is actually a very apt way to describe it. But let me share this video, and then it's going to ask you what kind of format or what kind of sharing you want to do. In this case, of course, with a professional level software, it's going to ask you a lot of other questions. And we can get into those as we progress in the semester. But to start off, I want to try to simplify it for you so that it's very straightforward for you to be able to export your project, your timeline. And so the first thing to understand is that a Premiere Pro project, the actual interface that you work on, is not something that you share with others, unless you are working on the film itself with them. And in that case, you're probably, have versions of it, that you're sharing with each other. If you were to send a Premiere Pro project to somebody, if you were to just grab hold of the little icon, the Premiere Pro, icon there, it wouldn't, the person on the other end couldn't see it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can sort of talk a little bit about that as we step forward. Let's see, which one do I want to use? We're going to use desktop number one here just for now. Okay, so I have my project here, and it is effectively connected to this right here. This is the Premiere Pro project, right? This is a root folder. It's got a lot of other stuff in it because it just happens to be the demonstration folder that I'm working on. So this is the Premiere Pro project, right? And inside, if I open this Premiere Pro project, it would call this up, right? This is what I would get. And so if I were to send someone this, if I were to grab hold of this and email it to somebody, you could do that. And what they would get would be this. They would be looking at something that says, demo Premiere Pro project. And if this person were to try to open that up, if they're lucky enough to have Premiere Pro on their computer, what they would get would be this that we're looking at. This, you would see a timeline, you would see a box that had a bunch of redness in here. Instead of this, it would be a bunch of things that say, I don't know what it is. There's no videos. What Premiere Pro would be trying to do is find its root folder. It'd be looking to go, where are all the video assets and where's all the stuff? It couldn't show you a preview because it wouldn't have any video to refer to in order to show you the video. That's because Premiere Pro project is just a direction. It's just a sort of like a traffic light that says, you go here, you're going to come in this direction, and then after that happens, you're going to move over here. So you wouldn't send somebody a Premiere Pro project. Another sort of illustration of that is if I open up the information about this, if I grab this little information, I clicked on this once and hit Command-I to get the info. Look how tiny this is. This is only 59 kilobytes, not megabytes, not gigabytes, not terabytes, 59K, right? That tells you right away that there's no information other than just numbers. It's just code. They're just directions. There's no video. There's not even a single photo. A photo couldn't take up 59K. Well, you could probably get it to 59K, but it wouldn't look very good. We're talking 24 photos per second. Clearly, this isn't something that contains your video. Because of that, we have to export the project to something that is a video, and then we share that. So that's a long-winded way to say, don't send people your Premiere Pro project. What you want to do instead is export your project to a video that you can then send to somebody. And what that would look like is here in the folder, I have got this project, which is Next, which I'll show you how to do in a moment. But this is the Next sort of project there. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a video, not a project that you're going to be sending to somebody. So let's get into it. Let's go ahead and just presume that here is my folder here. And here is the project with the type on it and everything, right? That's what I want to send. Now, as you guys can see, I've got everything in this Premiere Pro project that you might be considering, right? You might be thinking about as far as your project would be. You can see here, I've got the word rough and I've got the word next. That's rough and that's next. Here's trim demo, that's trim demo. So these little guys, they represent timelines. And, you know, if I could zoom in, I'm going to get some software that allows me to do all kinds of fancy stuff so that these demos are even more dynamic. But if you really look closely, and if you have your own project, you can look closely, you can see that this is a timeline because of the icon. This is a timeline. This is also a timeline, right? Because you can see that it's a timeline. Here is a timeline, right? This is just a piece of video footage. And then this is a video itself, right? And so these are your sub clips and these are your images that you're using. And you can just basically, you can see that, you know, what they are. They also have, this has sound attached to it because you can see both the video and the sound icon next to it. So at a glance, even in this picture mode, you can see everything that's there. So step one is to decide what you're going to be sending. And if it happens to be this timeline, that's what I want to select. I want to select this timeline as what I'm going to do. You could also select it down here. Just selecting that would allow you to send that or allow you to export that. So I'm selecting something, and then I'm going to go to File, Export Media. Okay. If you don't have anything selected in your project, that media will be grayed out. It'll look like these here because it won't be an option. And if it's not an option, you need to go back, select the timeline you want to export or the media you want to export, and make sure that you've got it. So I'm going to hit select and media like that. And then what's going to happen now is you'll get the export settings window. And this is where I'm talking about earlier, where it's, you know, confusing to look at. But there are some things that will be helpful for you. The very first thing you might want to wonder about is this right here. I've got this sort of scrolling line here. I'm going to kind of move this out of the way so that all you're seeing is this scrolling line. It shows you what you've selected. So go ahead and scroll through this and make sure, oh yeah, that's what I want to send. That's exactly what it is that I'm going to send. That would be number one. Number two is we're going to be choosing H.264 as our encoding format. That's going to be what we use to pull the information from Premiere Pro and make it something that everyone else can look at. So you may have other settings that are set up on here, and you can see as a professional piece of software, I've got lots and lots of choices here. But you're going to choose H.264, okay? H.264, and you should be, the preset should automatically jump to match source high bit rate. Okay, if it doesn't, go ahead and select that. That's what you should be selecting there. You want to, of course, verify that it says export the video and the audio. And now here is your opportunity to name the file if you want to rename it something else. This is as next one, and the reason it's added an _1 is it already sees that I got a video in where it's about to go to, which is your root folder. This is going to save by default to the root folder unless you've done a poor job in organization and you didn't set up your root folder the way we have demonstrated in earlier talks. So you want it to be going to your root folder. It does that automatically if you set it up. If you haven't set it up that way, what's going to happen is it's going to save this video that you're about to export wherever your project lives. So if your project lives on a big cluttered desktop, then that's where your video is going to go, and you're going to have to search for it wherever it is. If your video lives in some random folder 3 steps deep into your system, that's where this is going to wind up going. It's going to glom itself right next to wherever the video, wherever your Premiere Pro project actually is. So once you have that all set up, that's it. That's all you have to worry about now. We'll do some other exploration of this interface, of this window, but for now, that's it. You could go to queue, which is highlighted right here, which means you're going to queue it up, and then you could send other things to it. This is a good thing to do if you've got multiple clips that you want to export and stuff like that. But we're pretty much ready to export. So you're going to hit export next. And when you do that, it's going to go ahead and set it up and do. Now, depending on how long your project is, this could take a long time. If you've got like a 5-minute piece, it may take a couple of minutes to export. If you've got a 12 or 20-minute piece with lots of effects and lots of transitions going on, it could take even longer. It could take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It could take 2 hours if you've got a large enough project, or even longer. It also depends on your computer itself and how quickly it can process the information. Okay, so it did its stuff. And so now let's go ahead and open up that folder again to see exactly where it lived. There it is. It's right here. So you got next number 1. And if I open it up now on a Mac, you can simply hit the space bar and it opens it up. You can verify that that's what it is. Please do that. Watch the video that you exported before you send it to somebody. That way you'll be sure to know that you're sending them what you had expected to send them. So once you're happy with how that looks, you're like, okay, that's cool. Now I need to verify that my name is on the clip. Why? Well, I'm getting a lot of stuff from everybody, and I don't want you to presume that I'm going to know exactly what your video is. So your title is important. So I have next here. However, my name is also important as well. So I'm coming in here and I'm clicking and then kind of clicking a little bit more. That's on a Mac. I don't know how it is on a PC. And I'm going to type A underscore Alexander. And by doing that, and I'm going to hit another underscore, try not to do dots, because dots, although they don't mess you up all the time, can mess you up a little bit. Underscores are better for spaces. So A underscore Alexander, next 1. So that, when I send that to somebody, they're going to know it's from me because there's my name. And then next, and that's the title, and it's an MP4. They should be able to open that up as long as they have any kind of video reader or media Windows reader or whatever. So this is what you send to somebody, right? This is what you send to somebody. This is not what you want to send to somebody. So right here, that's your video. Now, there are other settings, like I mentioned, to export as, which, if you have a particular place that it's going, or if there are particular settings that you need to verify, like if you're going to put it up on a Vimeo page or a YouTube and you want to set it to something very specific, you have that control in there to be able to do it. But for now, you're just going to hit H.264, make sure that it says high bit rate, match source high bit rate, and verify that you're exporting the video and the audio. Click export, and then the result of that is what you send to me. All right. Hopefully you guys are in a good place on your first 2 projects that we're gonna look at on what would that be, the 8th of February? That would be when we're gonna take a look at those. We're gonna video those. So send those to me not before too long. We need those by noon before class. so we can do our screening. We'll discuss the finer points of what you're doing, congratulate each other for the good job that we're doing, and keep moving forward with the class. All right, everybody, thanks so much, and we'll see you in class. Bye-bye now.